Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for Wednesday Wham. We've got a special guest tonight, and I will introduce him in a moment. Want to remind everybody to like and subscribe. And yeah, exactly. Like and subscribe. And we have a little barcode up in the corner that will take you to Silverline's website.
Way up there.
Yes,
way
you
up
are.
there.
Mm-hmm. My name is Barb Kelbert. I've been a professional inker for 38 years. And I've been a colorist and a writer for the last 7. I didn't start coloring and writing until after I turned 60. So now you know how old I am. But the point is you're never too old to learn new things and have fun. And right over here next to me, Mr. Medic, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey, everybody. My name is Sean Medic. I am the writer and creator of Sniper and Rook and of Ripper. Been doing indie books since the mid to late 90s. Love it. Need to get more out this year. That's my plan.
And over here is the venerable Rob Davis.
Yeah, been in the comic book industry about the same number of years as Barb, pretty close in there. Started out as a letterer, then was an inker, then a penciler, and liked that best of all of them. Thought I was best at that of all of them. I've worked on books as diverse as Merlin in the Ancient Past and Star Trek and Kirk, Spock, and McCoy in the Far-Flung Future, and all kinds of stuff in between. Worked for a bunch of different comic book companies, including Marvel and DC, and now am the partner in a pulp revival publishing company called Airship 27 with Ron Fortier, who you guys, if you watch all of our podcasts, you'll see him on Tuesday nights with that group, and I'm also doing some stuff with Silverline. Did the 4-issue miniseries Twilight Grim with our old pal R.A. Jones, and I'm doing some covers here and there, and hopefully to be on a couple of other projects up and coming. That's me in a nutshell.
And our special guest tonight is Deece Casillas from Inferno Comics. Is that right? Inferno Comics?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And we are here to talk about not only his books Kill Stan, but about how he got into this crazy industry and why would you do this?
Why, man?
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good idea in the late 80s, but
well, life is I've made life out of bad decisions. Why not a couple more before the end of the line?
Okay.
Well, we're gonna start off by talking about your books, Kill Stan, number 1, and number 2. I just picked a few select pages out of because I don't want to, give anything away that might give the story away. So I'm gonna change. I'm gonna change this to the lower right. There we go. Silverline Wednesday Wham. Book is called Kill Stan. And can you tell us a little bit about issue number 1?
Yeah, so the elevator pitch for Kill Stan, it's a story about a guy who wants basically suicide by vigilantism. It's a guy who wants to end his own life, so he decides to do it through vigilantism. It's kind of a neo-noir crime thriller on the surface, but really it's a character piece about one man's journey of loss, trauma, and the crazy things we do when we feel like we have nothing left to live for.
Well, that sounds cheerful.
Yeah, well, life is cheerful, so yeah, art imitates life, right? We kind of open with this is Stan on the gurney here. I like to thrust people right into the thick of in stories. It's first person narration, and we kind of unwind from there how he got here and what unfolds from there.
He's an interesting dude, Stan is, and he wears this really strange demon mask, little crown of horns on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know the backstory behind the mask. I couldn't pick that up in the first issue. Could you kind of share a little bit of insight on that?
Yeah, a little bit. So we learn a little more about the mask in issue 4. But there
tidbits.
It's kind of it's not as what it is in the story is not as important as the iconography of the mask. There's a lot of details in this book that are, if you want to dig deep enough into subtext, you can pick up on, or you can just read the surface and kind of along for the ride. But I think at the end of it, people get a little more idea of why this mask is, why it looks like this when we first meet him, why the crown, and things like that. But the design, I wanted it to, beyond the iconography, I wanted it to be kind of simple but striking. And yeah, so people could notice it, but it wasn't a whole costume type thing.
No, he wears regular clothes. He's got the mask to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned iconography. Do you like symbolism and iconography planted throughout your books?
Very much so. I mean, everything is with purpose in this book, down to the colors we use, why we use those colors, how pages are done. I'm a big fan of cinema, film, studied a lot of film, worked in film for a bit. The 5 C's of film are a big kind of part of that book, is part of how I apply those things to comic books. Huge fan of Stanley Kubrick and his work. So I try to apply cinematography and cinema aspects to the book. So everything is very purposeful in the way it's set up.
What are the 5 C's?
I'd have to go back through the book. There's the 5 C's. I can get them to you. 5 C's of film making.
I have the book somewhere.
Camera angles, continuity, cutting, close-ups, composition, and that's like that's the basic 5 C's. But there's a book that talks about how these principles work together and making them cohesive and how. Just kind of, it's about filmmaking, essentially.
Yep. Got that.
And you talked about the color scheme, and we see a little bit of that here. It's very dark, and he wasn't raised in a good neighborhood. Does that influence the color styles at all?
I mean, a little bit. The nickname of this part of the neighborhood is, they call it the dark side, just because it's kind of the bad part of town. We leave it a little nebulous as to what it is. It's not a fictional town, but it's not really any town specific to any city specifically. I wanted to leave it a little open-ended that way. But yeah, the whole book has a darker feel to it. Again, we use a lot of color intentionally to create a mood. We use black gutters to keep it dark and moody. And then as you go through the book, you'll see more and more of the color schemes we use. A lot of blues and reds, filters over entire panels to show impact, the colors and backgrounds we choose, things like that.
Do you have? Can I ask a question about the page?
Sure.
Yeah,
I'm just curious, as a gun enthusiast, is that a specific pistol that he's carrying, or it's just an artistic pistol?
That's a really good question. I don't know. So this this book I wrote, created. I do the layouts, and then I have a finish artist does the detail work for me.
Okay.
So I told him just a pistol, not a revolver, and this is what he drew.
Yeah,
so
generic. Yeah, that looks like a.
And I've done that before too, where it's like, draw a pistol, and then there's been other times where I specifically want them decked out with specific.
Always specify.
Yeah,
yes.
If
you don't know it, here's some links.
I've run into that with Barb. I drew a gun that she inked, and she goes, "Which gun did you use as the reference for this?" So I didn't have a specific reference, but a Colt 1911 is usually what I go with, or that particular look, and that looks very similar to that. But there's a lot of guns that have that same look.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
that angle, it's hard to tell what it, the size and stuff. So I'd have to ask my artist, but I did specify a pistol. Again, when I write these scripts, I am very, there's a lot of specificity. So,
Well, the few times I haven't specified, like I'm the creator of a book called Divinity, and they're running from bad guys, and I didn't specify to my penciler that they're shooting across from one ridge to another ridge, and he drew them with Uzis. And I'm like,
yeah, the best
Uzis
gun
is a
ever.
short range weapon.
Yeah.
You need a long gun.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like, I'd rather just say up front, because that's what's going to happen. You're going to say he's got a gun, and then he's going to end up with he's shooting 10 shots at this. He's going to end up with a revolver in his hand, and you're like, well, that doesn't shoot 10 shots. We gotta, so better to over describe and make sure it gets the point across.
Yeah. I was raised with a gun enthusiast, so I'm like really super picky. All right, here's another instance. Okay, now we come across the big mystery. Now, I only have the first 2 issues. So Stan picks up this pseudo Bucky Barnes arm and puts it on, and it won't come off. I mean, it's like super strong, and it's got a mind of its own. Can you give us any hints about this arm?
No. I mean, no. I'll say what I can. This is gonna probably create more questions than it answers. But I really like to. I will say that. I always say that Wolverine was infinitely more interesting before we knew his origin. So not everything is always explained 100%, because
I agree.
Kind of like Tom Bombadil in
I have so many people ask me where Divinity got her powers. I'm never going to explain how she.
And I love that. Like, I'm such a big fan of the first Alien movie, where there's just this alien, they fight it gets ejected into space, and like, I could have never gotten any more and been like, that was awesome. The more you get, the more it like detracts from it. So having said that, we do learn more about this arm, but it's to be completely frank, the arm is really just kind of a vehicle to propel the rest of the story. It's not as important as people keep thinking it is.
Okay, so
it's
a plot device.
And that's fine.
It's a plot device. Yeah, just like John said, it's a plot device.
Yeah.
To move the story forward. All right.
Yeah, it was. In the original, originally I did not include this, but it kind of came to me later, and I revised the story a little because it added some things that it added some depth and some layers that I liked. So,
and now we meet one of the other characters that I have a feeling is going to take up a large part of the story. Is our detective here, and his name escapes me at the moment.
Monroe.
Yeah, that's right, Monroe. And he's a straight shooter. This guy is one of the good cops. And he's
Potentially
operating.
the only good cop left.
Yeah, he's operating in a cesspool of bad cops.
Yeah.
But he's got his morals and he sticks to them, which is admirable. And since I've only read the first 2 issues, I don't know if these guys form a friendship later on, but I can absolutely, in my head, I can see that happening. Yeah.
Actually, more of a love interest, but no, I'm kidding. Yeah.
So it's a gimp mask.
Yeah,
That's why we don't find out about it until later.
This book takes a very hard turn after number 5. Now, there's a friendship may be bold, but there is some kinship and some crossover between these characters. Next to Stan, Monroe is the supporting actor. Next biggest character in this book.
That's what I got the feeling of too. And again, we see the color palette, even though it's night, obviously, but still, it's very subdued.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't get those primary superhero colors.
Yeah.
No.
And we're gonna take a break here between issues 1 and 2 to talk about this page here at the end of issue 1. And I can't see it, but I'm gonna pull it up here on my. It says, "This is not the first comic book I've ever written. In fact, it's probably somewhere around the 2000th comic book I've written. Please explain that."
Oh boy. So I have written, when I say 1,000 of comic book scripts, it's probably not hyperbole. Ever since I was a young child, as far back as I can remember, all I wanted to do was be a writer. It's all I love to do. I'm fortunate enough to be able to do that for a living in a lot of different mediums over the last 20 plus years. But really, I loved comic books. I just didn't know how to do it. It seemed so far away. And but I always wrote stuff. I wrote scripts for original ideas I had. I wrote, my X-Men story, my Batman story, things I want to write for other, I've got other properties, other IP. But I've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of scripts I've written for characters of mine, short, whether long epics or a 10-issue series of a character, a 25-issue series.
You're obsessed with writing.
Yeah, I am obsessed with writing. I always have been. It's literally the only thing I wanted to do since I put pen to paper as a child. So
that's like John. How young were you when you wrote your first script?
Oh, the first, probably. I don't know if I'd call it a script, but I was writing, I wrote like a superhero story when I was probably I don't know, 7, 8 years old. I remember I don't really remember this, but when I was 4, I wrote a story and drew pictures, made my own little comic book. And
I was doing that too when I was 7, stick figures. Yeah.
So it's literally all I wanted to do, and ideas just pour out of me. Whether people will love them or not, I don't know, but they do pour out of me in a way I can't control.
John, how old were you when you wrote your first?
My own stuff, a little bit older, but I found when I was going through some of the stuff at my mom's house, I probably had to have been 5 or 6. Basically, my attempt at a Star Wars, Star Trek crossover.
Nice.
So,
I'm shocked, John. Shocked.
C-3PO and Spock got along really well.
I'm sure. Well, at least it wasn't Cylons.
3PO is not logical. Oh, he's very emotional.
Well, think about like what a little kid's gonna think, you know. So yeah.
Yeah.
See, I think Cylons and R2D2 would just hit it off. Yeah. So,
Well, we all know Kit's a Cylon too, so.
Right.
So what mainstream comic was the one that first grabbed you, Deece?
Well, I can show you.
Oh,
So I'll say this: I had read comic books because I had older cousins. My dad is one of 14 kids because we already talked Mexican, and there's a lot of us, and so he's one of the youngest of 14. So I have a lot of cousins who are a lot older than me. So I had cousins who had like collections of comic books I would go through, and then I used to watch the old Batman 66 show, and I was like very aware of hey, sorry, my dogs are misbehaving. I was very aware of
It got my attention. I'm like, shit, you saw this on my phone.
I didn't have any comic books, but I knew, like, I had action figures and I had cartoons, and I had like I was trading cards. But the first comic book I got that was mine was this Guardians of the Galaxy number 21. Now this is not
Is that Kevin West art?
What's that?
Is that by Kevin West? Is that when he was on the book?
No, this is Jim Valentino.
Okay, Valentino was still on it.
Oh, Jim's a lovely person.
Yeah. I mean, I've got to meet Jim years ago. I wrote him a letter, and he was nice enough to handwrite me a letter back.
Cool.
I mean, this was like fucking 30 years ago. Sorry, language. I don't know if we can curse on the show. It's like 30 years ago. But this was the first comic book that was mine. I reread it till the cover was falling off. And I was obsessed, and I have been ever since. And, I'm young enough to where, or old enough, young enough, Jesus Christ, in no way. I'm old enough to, the first quite a few years of my comic book career, I was buying comic books from whatever was on the rack at 7-Eleven that week, or whatever the grocery store and the pharmacy had a little spinner rack, whatever they had. So, it wasn't like, oh, I could read the Guardians of the Galaxy every month. It was just maybe they had it, maybe they didn't. And then, after a couple years, I found a comic book shop that was near-ish to my house. Would make my way there occasionally when I had money, or sometimes I just go and just like look, just stare at it. L.A. Okay. Long Beach.
Okay.
So it just was. I was just instantly from the first. I mean, just enamored. I've been in love with the medium ever since. Yeah,
that's usually how it goes, is that the people who actually manage to break in to comics are so obsessed that they cannot stop.
I mean, look behind me. This is I mean, I've got 136 long boxes back there. A wall of trade paper, like about 1,700 trade paperbacks over there. I mean, I'm obsessed is beyond.
I tried to step away for a while, and I couldn't do it. I tell people comics is like herpes. Once it's in your blood, it's in there for life.
Yeah. And it's just such it's a beautiful medium. It's beautiful, and it's underrated, and it's so overlooked because of the this is probably not the right word, but I'll use the word stigma of like kind of schlocky, typical superhero comic books without a lot of weight to them, which there is that in the industry, and there is a lot of that in the industry, and there has been a lot of that
in all publishing.
Sure. Well, and that's the thing, like you can say that, you can look at movies and be like, listen, they've made 12 Fast and the Furious movies. Okay. Like, don't come at me about high art. All right. Like, you can do that and still make, I
was out after the third one.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. So, but there's such beautiful things that have been done in comic books too that like really people don't even realize, or like they see something and just think it's one thing, but there's so much more to it.
Javier, he was on here last week with us. He was such a doll to hop in and save us when there was just Rob and I.
It was just her and me last week, until Javier jumped in with it,
and then Tom Mason did too.
He was, and Tom, yes, they were. Both of them were very, very.
This goes back to This goes back to talking about the guns. If it's not in a script, then you're leaving it up to the artist to figure it out on their own. If you want a specific prop, put it in the script, please. Thank you. Yeah. Yes. I try to do that.
If you have a photo or a link, send the link so the artist can draw.
I try to remember to do that all the time, but occasionally I will forget. And you can ask Rob how picky I am, because he's drawing like a horse and carriage, and I'm saying, so is this a 2-tree or a 3-tree? And he's like, what's a tree? And I'm like,
because I got reference.
Yeah.
I had like reference for 3 wagons that were very similar, were the same.
There's cross trees.
But
I'm talking.
But one of them had 6 horses, and one of them only had 4, and then there was another smaller one that only had 2 horses. But in not knowing anything about harness, I just drew what I saw in the photograph, and she goes, "Well, which one is it?" And I'm going, "I have no idea."
You've got more. You've got a single tree. You've got a single tree, but you've got 4 horses. You need to have
exactly. Because I put the 2 drawing. The 2 references together, because I didn't know any better. So, but and she fixed it, by the way.
That's why they pay me the big bucks.
There you go.
All right, we're gonna add this back into the stage here. Barb, your carriage flexing on poor Rob. I know. I pick on Rob all the time.
It's all good. It's all good, really. That's really is.
That's what an inker is supposed to do. Is they're supposed to
exactly
catch that shit. But all right, we are going to go to number 2. We're going to pick up Kill Stand number 2, and this one's got like 3 covers.
Yeah, we do multiple. Oh, the PDF. Yeah, your PDF has all the covers. All the books have multiple covers. We do a main cover, a variant cover, and then we do a limited edition of just 25 on the Kickstarter, and then when we go to retail, we do a foil edition.
We do the same.
Yeah,
we do the same at Silverline.
Silverline does, yeah.
Yes, and I know who's going to do the art on my trade paperback, but I can't say.
You got somebody good. You got somebody really good, did you?
Yeah. Actually, Roland lined him up, but he's a good friend of mine anyway, so he would have done it.
Yeah. Probably why he said yes.
Yes, and okay, so you are the writer and layout person.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have Felipe.
Yeah, Felipe. So I do the cover art also for the books. And then Felipe is the interior artist, Felipe Sobriera, and then Jimmy G, he's our colorist and letterer.
Where did you find Felipe?
Felipe, I found him in a favela in Brazil. He is. I actually met him online. So when I decided I was going to do this book and I was going to do it no matter what, I just solicited on. There's a bunch of indie comics pages on Facebook, and I just solicited for an artist. I gave an idea of what the tone of the book would be. I gave a couple examples of artists who I liked or wanted the book to look like. And then I just had people send me their, portfolio and page rate.
First artist that I found for Divinity actually found me. His name is Alex Sarabia from Chihuahua, Mexico. And he contacted me. He goes, I'm a huge fan of yours.
Oh, wow.
My biggest dream is one of these days to work with you. So I flipped over to his Facebook page, and I'm like, oh, how about right now?
Yes.
Yeah. Turns out we've got work.
Yeah.
Serendipity.
Yeah, and the other one I found through DeviantArt, that's a cesspool, but you gotta plow through a lot of stuff to find the gold.
Yeah, luckily I was so specific on what I wanted. When people send me, my picker is pretty well tuned from doing all the things I've done, so I kind of was able to aggregate through emails pretty quickly, very quickly. Know what I didn't
Easier
want.
with artists than writers. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sure.
You can pretty much see within a page or two. This guy's not going to work. Hey,
100%.
This guy might work. Yeah.
So,
Well, you have your own likes, and you have a vision of what your style is going to be like, and you're not going to settle for, a cartoonist when you're looking for somebody who's going to pull off the mood that you're looking for.
Right. Yeah. I mean, when almost as soon as I saw Felipe's work, I knew it was going to be him. I did talk to 2 other people, but he definitely is the guy. I knew from right away. So.
And again, in issue 2 here, we get down to, again, the tone, and we're back to Detective Monroe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm cherry picking pages so that I don't give away too much.
So yeah, this is page 1 of number 2.
Yes, and he says he's forced to face his demons. So we've got, which is intriguing, because now we've got him facing his demons and Stan facing his demons.
Maybe a little crossover symbolism here.
Yeah. And then now we're back.
Lines.
Yeah, we're back to the arm, which has a mind of its own, and it throws this guy across the room.
In the hospital, it looks like.
Yeah. So this is back to we're now back to where we found Stan in the start of issue number 1 in the hospital bed, and they're trying to remove the arm or figure it out. And yeah, it kind of has a mind of its own in this way.
Yeah, it's not cooperating. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. They've tried to cut it off. They've tried Jaws of Life. They've tried everything to get it off of it, and it will not come off. Which I suppose if they get desperate, they could just chop the whole arm off. But the arm wouldn't let them do that because
it wouldn't be OSHA compliant.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. And again, we've got some bad guys here, and again, we're looking at the hand. He has fallen out the window. For the guys that don't know this, he's fallen out the window, and the hand on its own catches him, and then he has to talk the hand into letting him go because he needs to let go, and the hand's like, no, I don't want to let go. And then he has to sweet talk it into and say, come on, if you don't let us go, then I'm going to die. And then so he, it lets go finally.
So you won't have a host anymore. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. My personal theory is the arm is cursed. But again, you say it's a plot device, but it's an interesting plot device.
Plot devices can be cursed. So.
Yeah. And
So I think the question is, you may not be interested in sharing it, but you know what's going on with the arm, right?
Yeah.
You know.
I mean,
okay.
yeah. So yes,
but you're
yes.
not, you don't have to share it if here or anywhere, but just to let us know, you know what's going on with it, so you can keep consistent in how you tell the story of the thing, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So what's also interesting is poor Stan has this super suicidal ideation, and the arm does not. I mean, the arm is like, what? What you talking about, Willis?
Yeah.
And I have a feeling that they're going to not get along too well at some.
There is some difference of ideas here.
And then we've got our crew here. We've got Deece, and we've got Philippe, and we've got Jimmy on the back page there. And this is all the pages I'm going to show from issue number 2. Now,
Okay.
how many issues are currently out? Just the 2, or
we've got 3 out right now. And I thought I sent you all 3. Sorry about that. I can send you number 3, but yeah, there's 3 issues out right now. And we're working on number 4 as we speak. It's a 10-issue series in total. So
new fear, hostile limb that won't comply. Knowing me, it'd be picking my nose, but you know.
Dr. Strangelove. Where he has the arm that, you know.
Yeah. So Inferno, is that your a brand, or are you working under an umbrella of somebody else?
My publishing company I created for this. So I plan to publish this book under there. I've got another book I'm working on. I'm going to do under Inferno, an anthology, which will contain some of my stories and some other people. And then I am looking at trying to get some other people published through the label also. So
you're taking submissions?
I wouldn't say I'm taking submissions. I'm more just poking around, because here's the thing. I don't want to fish through a bunch of submissions. I don't have time for that. But I also want a specific feel for it's kind of like, you guys remember when the Senate, there was like this congressional hearing about pornotography. And they're like, I don't know what it is, but we'll know it.
I know it when I see it. Yeah.
That's well, you believe me, I know it when I see it too. So you don't know it when you see it. You gotta, turn up the brightness on your computer screen. But I just want to find things that I like, because I'm not looking for something specific. I just know what I'm not looking for. And really, I just want a unique story, character driven, not plot driven, something with purpose. Beyond that, it's really hard to describe what I'm looking for. So there are a couple books. I go to a lot of conventions, so I'm always picking up stuff, meeting people, talking to people online. And if there's something that picks my interest, I have a conversation about how we might be able to work with people.
That sounds really cool. Have you published previously through that?
No, so this is brand new. This is just something I created for the comic book, and to go all in whole hog with the comic book thing, create a LLC and be able to do it all right from the ground up from the beginning.
Are you planning on doing other? I mean, you said you already have another book in the pipeline.
Yeah.
How many books do you have in the pipeline?
Hundreds in the pipeline. It's the only thing holding it back is finances, honestly. I mean, if I could, eternal. If I had the money, I could be putting out 10 books a month. There's stuff that's written that are ready to go. I just need to have the capital to make it happen.
That's why I do shows.
Yeah. So, it's, but yeah, that's the plan. Just, I mean, everything I did 36 conventions last year. I'm in some, we're in about 20 some comic book shops. We sell online. We're growing a little slowly, but everything goes back into the book to get the next one out, and then working on, the next thing. So hopefully, this year we'll have a second title out. What that is exactly, I'm not sure. Whether that's my other series or the anthology, most likely the anthology. But that's probably the next thing we're going to work on. I've got a lot of I'm obsessed with doing this like a heavy metal type book. Maybe not that sci-fi necessarily, but like something of that theme where you got a couple different stories. Some are one-offs, some continue.
Or you have no idea what you're going to see in the book either.
Right. Just
heavy metal was you'd get one type of story, and then you turn the page after that one ended, and you go, "Wait, what's this?" It's completely different, just incredibly different.
And
a lot of times.
That's what I want to do. Something that gives people a lot of different. Because I mean, I've got stories too that I want to tell that I'm like, I don't know. Maybe that doesn't need its own title. Like this could be a story that I tell 10 pages at a time, over in this anthology, and then, get some other people's work in there. I'll probably do like 2 or 3 stories in the anthology and then get 2 or 3 other people in there. And, that seems like a more fun way to do it. And, get other people's work under my umbrella, get my stuff on their tables when they're out and about,
those anthologies, they can be really amazing. I inked a 6-page story for an anthology over 30 years ago, and that story still sticks in my head.
It's in your head. Yeah. Got in your head and didn't get out.
Yeah. I think about it all the time.
Yeah. I'm stunned by the fact that it seems like anthologies don't sell that well. At least whenever they've been tried. I don't know if they just haven't come up with the right kind yet. But then you look at manga.
We were talking about this last week.
Yeah, and
they do all kinds of anthologies.
They do all kinds of stuff, and anthologies out the wazoo. So what's the answer? Who knows?
Well, I mean,
if it's lightning in a bottle, I don't know.
I mean, those two demographics, American comics and manga, are so different. The buyers. So, I think with American comics, it's just people who are like people are very laser specific on what they read. There's not a lot of people getting out of that lane. So it's obviously, you guys know, it's an uphill battle with indie comics because you're trying to get people out of that lane. So, people only have so much money to go around, and they're like, well, I've been reading X-Men for 30 years and I only have enough money to buy X-Men. So sorry, Stan, I don't give a shit about what you're doing. So, I mean, I think so. That's why I think anthologies are just tough, because you're not even getting like someone to buy into one thing. You're trying to get them to buy into 8 things that are not full things. It's like
you would think they'd be getting more bang for their buck, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you'd think so, but I mean, it's like sometimes people, instead of getting a mixed bag of, because here's the thing, they used to sell those little snack bags of chips, and you'd go buy a thing that had like 12 of them. It had like 4 Doritos, 4 Cool Ranch, 2 Cheetos, and then the Ruffles, and then like plain Lay's, and then you're like, but you're like, I love Doritos, but I don't really like Lay's, so like, I don't really love Cheetos. But so you're like, yeah, I get a little more bang for my buck, but I don't like 25% of these things. So it's the same thing with anthologies. They're like, I may get more, but there's also
they used to do that with breakfast cereal too. You get these
it's like
and you go, I don't care for Cocoa Puffs,
right
in there,
and then just Raisin Bran sitting around in your fucking being lonely in the closet for 8 months. So people are, it's that someone wants a specific thing. So
yeah, I suspect it has something to do with the fact that people are actually in love with the characters and not the medium. Right. They're in love with the X-Men. They're not in love with comics.
Right.
If you're in love with comics, you would get anthologies would appeal to you.
Yeah.
I love the medium, so let me get a full meal of whatever the medium is.
Right. And some diversity, of storytelling, art, and yeah.
So what's Javier up to here?
Javier says, I'm looking for cohesiveness and consistency in a comic book series. Don't like when writers set up rules for their creation, then end up breaking them because those rules are now an impediment to the plot.
100%. I agree 1,000%, Javier. Yeah.
I want Javier on my show more. because
Yeah.
last week was a blast.
Yeah, I always say I will go along with anything you want to do, but once you establish the rules, we have to stick to them. You can make it as crazy as you want. You tell me what the rules are, but now those are the rules we have to live
Don't
and
break them. Yeah, it's this issue. These are the rules. The next issue, it's the same characters, but it's a different set of rules.
Yeah,
That doesn't keep me either.
John, you've been writing for what, 25 years?
Yeah. Like officially, yeah, about 25 at this point. So
your opinion on this?
On the anthology part?
Yeah, on anthologies.
Yeah. I really liked the analogy about like, okay, I don't like the Cheetos as much as I like the Cool Ranch, and so yeah, I'm getting more for the bang of my buck. I think it would really have to be how tight an anthology it is. There is so much just stuff out there. You could read stuff online. You could read comics and short stories online. So if it's going to be something that's not your cup of tea, just with it on paper in a book, it's a waste of space. And it might just frustrate you not to even get through the rest of the book if it's something that's really not up your alley. So, it would really have to be something that's very, very tight, kind of like staying in that lane, So if it's an anthology of all brand new caped heroes with a variety of backgrounds, okay, cool. But if you're going to give me an anthology that has a superhero story, a Western that I couldn't give a shit about, a space story that I may or may not care about, some romance story that I'm not going to give a shit about, a day in the life story that I'm not going to give a shit about, and like the coolest superhero ever, I'm not going to make it to that coolest superhero because I'm going to be like, crap, don't care, that's ugly, because it's not my cup of tea. So I think that would have to be really tracked along a genre for it to grab my attention.
I think you're spot on. EC used to do horror anthologies.
Yeah.
But it was all horror.
And see, I would skip that because horror's not my thing.
Yeah,
but if horror was my thing, I'd want something that's all horror. Yeah. I may or may not dig one of the stories in there, but I'll be like, okay, well, that one wasn't to my taste, but the next horror story might, because I know
that's what it's the genre you're in. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that kind of brings up an idea I had about how the future of comics and with print on demand like it is, having these kiosks that you go to, and a publisher has this list of different stories, and you can build your own anthology. Oh, I'll take this and this and this and this and this,
a buffet,
and have the machine print out that comic book.
Yeah.
How cool would that be?
Yeah, don't give Marvel any ideas. They're lazy enough already.
Well, I don't think Marvel would do it because it's so far out of their wheelhouse.
Yeah.
I really don't think they would go for it. I think it would. Yeah, it would. Yeah, somebody. In fact, I don't think anybody will do it. I think it's a great idea, but I don't think anybody would do it. But it's possible to do that.
Yeah,
you would be able to you could do it online for that matter. You could go, okay, I want this, and this, and then the print on demand folks print that particular book just for you and send it to you. So it's highly possible to do that.
Rob, you're talking about the Coke machine of comics. Brilliant, says Ad.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
It's a buffet. You can skip the peas if you don't like peas.
Machine, more or less. Now you could also, if they ever miniaturize the printers that make these books, printers and binders, and automate it, then like I said, you could build a kiosk somewhere that somebody could go to a touch screen and go, okay, I want these stories in this, and then you pay for it, and it prints it out for you, and there it is. So
Javier says an a la carte anthology sounds like a great way to repurpose older stories already in stock.
Exactly. Yeah. And you could pick a new story, you could pick an old story, you'd have this huge catalog to pick from. course, now every time you get into something that's that expansive, you've got people going, well, what do I want today? I
Yeah,
can't,
too many
there's
options.
too much stuff. It's like going through Netflix. Didn't care for that. So that's the one drawback, is that it would take forever to go through and figure out what you want.
Yeah.
Oh, Atris, it says Shark Tank time. Okay, Rob, you need to go on Shark Tank.
Yeah, well, yeah, right. Well, I don't have the infrastructure. I don't have people that I could do the infrastructure with. Actually, I know some folks that could do part of it, but
We need to win the lottery. I keep saying this.
yeah, got to win that $1 billion lottery when it comes up again.
Yeah. Deece, do you crowdfund at all?
We do. So what I did is I just paid for issue 1 out of pocket, and then I ran a Kickstarter for it, and basically I just took part of the Kickstarter money to print, and then I took the rest of the money and I rolled it into making number 2.
The next one, then making the next one.
We've just kind of been doing that every time. There is a pre-launch page for number 4 up now. If you go to our Instagram at inferno.earth and hit the link, the pre-launch page is up there. So if you guys would do me a solid and follow the pre-launch page, you don't even have to follow, you don't have to buy anything, support it when it comes out, but just following the pre-launch page does help a lot in the algorithm when we do launch. We're aiming at around the 1st of April to launch number 4, the Kickstarter. We've kind of been, so what I've been trying to do also though is we'll always run a Kickstarter just because we get some organic traffic, but I've been trying to get people to just pre-order on the website as opposed to going to Kickstarter. Because we put pre-orders up on the website shop, and that way, it's like I'm getting all the traffic from the website. I'm gathering email information. I'm gathering data statistics. And then also, Kickstarter's not getting their beak wet on 15% of every dollar I make. So I can just do it all directly through the website. So I've been slowly weaning off the Kickstarter and making the dollar amount lower that we're trying to get to, and then just trying to get people to go to the website and pre-order with us. So that's kind of been, we're moderate success. Every time it works a little better. So
all right, we're going to open up. I've asked all the questions I have of you. I'm going to open it up to John and Rob if you have any questions.
Well, I think you hit on the one question I had, which was what's his whole setup with how he finances this. Go ahead, John. Maybe you've got something now.
Actually, mine would be more like a creator part. So you had said that you've written hundreds and thousands of ideas down. Started off with existing intellectual properties, branched off, did your own thing. Just curious, if you had the opportunity and you were forced to do it, so you couldn't say no.
Okay.
What one DC title or character would you want? What one Marvel or title or character, like you could say Avengers or you could just say Captain America, and what one image?
Okay, super easy. DC, Barbara Gordon, Batgirl.
All right. Tell us why.
I have written, I call it Barbara Gordon's Dark Knight.
Okay.
It's I'm pretty in love with it, so maybe we'll see it one day.
So it's actually something you've worked on, and you're like, I could roll with this. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, when I say I've written these things, like I've scripted them out. Like when I mean, there's some stuff that's just loose ideas or skeletons or like beats. This is issue. There's stuff I've fully scripted too. So Barbara Gordon, Batgirl, for DC. For Marvel, it would be X-Men. That
your own lineup, or would you have like an existing lineup that you'd be pulling back?
Oh, I've got my own lineup because I love C-list characters.
Cool.
We're bringing it's Havoc, Dazzler, Longshot.
So kind of like the Outback days a little bit there.
I love the Outback days. Yeah.
Yes.
So we get that. That's one of my favorite areas, the X-Men. But those characters would be like a good core. I like probably have some. I I've got an arc that involves Maverick. I'm a huge Maverick fan. You know, I mean, when it comes to X-Men, if someone ever gave me a shot at that, I literally, that's something that they could write. I could write for a decade that I've got stories for. So, but I've got one really, really, really good story. That if I had like a 12 issue arc, that I would be solid. For Image, that's a little more interesting.
Yeah, because it's so vast with all the different genres.
Yeah. If we're considering Wildcat's Image,
I'd say that's fair.
All right. I mean, obviously technicalities.
DC hasn't done anything with them, so
right. Yeah, right. They never will. I would say, Wildstorm. I've got kind of a reboot of the Wildstorm. Not a reboot. It's kind of a rejuvenation. Restructuring. Of the Wildstorm universe. I've got a take on it that I think would make it a little more cohesive, streamlined, and bring in the best parts of it and trim some of the fat. Despite the original Wildcats being a horrific reread, I absolutely loved it as a kid just because I was a Jim Lee guy. But it's, trying to reread it is very challenging. There's not much there. But that's I would say that. If not that, I do also have what I think is a really interesting Spawn story.
Cool.
Yeah.
Atri says, Deece, how do you index all of these scripts? Do you have some system of record, or is it all stored in your head?
Oh man, have you ever seen like those FBI flow charts with all the red with
all the strings,
pointing at
all the
me,
strings and pushed in.
So I have from back before computers, because that's how long ago I've been writing for. Before computers, I've got countless notebooks filed back there, and they're filed alphabetically by either DC or Marvel or Independent, and then filed by the title. And then I've also got a ton of hard drives that are kind of broken down the same way. Some are just like, oh, this is an idea for a story. This is going to go here. This is a Marvel story. This is a DC story. This is my own character. So it's all kind of broken down in files, kind of how you'd file your comic books on a rack, I guess, So,
Rob, John, any more questions?
I'm tapped. I'm tapped out. But yeah, I'm. My biggest observation is you are definitely obsessed.
That is true.
There's the old.
You're one of us.
There's the old saying about how to become really good at anything is put in 10,000 hours of practice on it, and you've done that. It sounds like with all the scripts and stuff you've got. Is there something about the creative process that you still feel like you're working hard at, still trying to reach a certain goal with it that you haven't yet?
I mean, I think the only real goal is just getting it to more people. I mean, it's always just broadening that, opening that aperture, broadening that audience. I want, here's the thing. Like I do stand-up comedy for a living. That's how I pay my mortgage.
Okay.
But I mean, that's something I also love and something you do for a very long time for free. Right. So, the idea of working very hard and doing something for free, because it's something I love. I would do comedy for free. I did comedy for free because I loved it. I wrote for free because I loved it. Now I've written for a lot of things. I've published books. I've written for, websites. I've done some film, TV, sketch stuff. So I get to do that now, but I did it for so long for free because I just loved it. I love comic books so much. indie comics is a hard game, obviously, but I do it because I love it. Now it's just opening that audience, getting it to more people, being able to have the finances to do more of these stories that I want to get out there and get those to more people too. So that's just kind of the main thing. Just keep working and keep getting it out there as much as we can.
Like Nemo, just keep swimming.
That's right.
Just keep swimming. Fake it till you make it. If somebody's looking for you on socials, give me all your socials.
Yeah, so for the comic book, you can go to Instagram is where I'm most active with the comic book. We have a Facebook page. I usually forget to use it. And honestly,
it's for old fogies like me.
Yeah.
Facebook's for old fogies like me.
The Instagram was where I'm most active. It's at inferno.earth is the Instagram. Give us a follow. It helps a lot building the following. I post a lot of stuff about the comic book, but I don't do just stuff about the comic book. I post stuff about comic books. So like every Monday I post my pick of the week for Wednesday, New Comic Book Day, like what I'm looking forward to the most. And
it's
I talk about
kind of your blog.
Yeah. The idea is I want people to know that, yes, I make comics, but I am also a comic book fan. And I want people to know what I love and why I love it and why I love comic books. Because, and also, I mean, we all get tired of like constantly trying to be sold something on social media. So if I'm creating content where I'm like, hey, like, listen, I'm not trying to make you buy anything. I'm just talking about comic books. Like, come hang out in a comic book space. And occasionally I'm going to tell you about new stuff I'm doing. But every week I post my pick of the week for New Comic Book Day. Wednesdays, I fell off a little bit these last few weeks. I've been traveling, but I try to do, I call it, instead of New Comic Book Day, I call it Old Comic Book Day, where I do a 3-minute review on an old comic book I love, why I love it, how it was impactful to me, why it matters. Things like that. I try to support other indie artists a lot, talk about indie books I like or that I'm reading. Just kind of making a space for comic books. So inferno.earth, that's also our website is inferno.earth. It's not infernoearth.com. .earth is the domain. All the .coms are sold. There's too many porn sites. So we just
there's never too many. Wait, what did I just say?
We're at .earth now. So that's where you get inferno.earth. And we don't do any other social media. I never will. Don't ask. I'm not doing TikTok. I'm not doing Blue Sky. Wherever the hell you are, I don't give a shit. Come to me or we're not going to hang out. I'm on Instagram.
Your energies are focused in one place, and that's probably a good thing.
Yeah, it just is too diluted. And like TikTok came, I was too old to begin the training when TikTok came out. And then, I've had a Twitter for my comedy for I don't know, since 2008, but I've only used it a hand. I never even used it before it kind of went crazy and people, whatever. I don't care. I don't use that either. And then if you like comedy, you can follow me at deece.comedy on Instagram or at deececomedy.com is the website. I'm touring somewhere near you soon, I'm sure. If not, hit me up and we'll set something up. I'll come to you. I'll do shit everywhere.
You'll come to my garden party. You'll come
I do private events.
You got anything Chicagoland coming up?
Not in Chicago. Honestly, I don't really do. I've been through there a couple of years ago, but I don't do Chicago. I am really bad at the Midwest. So I do the South, the Northwest, all through the South, Southeast, and up the East Coast to
he's not coming to.
We're all in the Midwest.
Area, John.
I really never do the Midwest. I don't know.
I'm Wisconsin. I'm Wisconsin. He's Missouri, and he's Illinois.
I've been to Wisconsin. There's a club in Appleton I've played a couple times, Skyline, which is a cool club. But I'm trying to get out to a club in Indianapolis and Chicago. Chicago's also a tough market, just because big cities like that are really, they're just challenging markets unless you're like famous on Netflix, which I'm not. So, but yet, well, but I also host a weekly podcast called The Social Hour, new episodes every Wednesday. Been doing it for 14 years. I talk to a lot of different people. I've interviewed everyone from presidential candidates to the creator of the Ninja Turtles. So, and everything in between. I just talk to people I want to talk to. So,
one last question. When do you sleep?
Not a
When
lot.
do you sleep?
Not a lot, bro. I'm about a 5 hour a night guy. Usually between 2 and 7 is when I sleep. So,
exactly. Yeah. You are one busy person.
Yeah, sounds like it. Well, thank you so much for sharing your person with us and all of our viewers. You've been a wonderful guest. You have been a lot of fun.
So much energy, man.
Yeah. Now I feel like instead of going to bed, I need to go and get my tablet and get back to work.
You got to bring it. You got to bring it when you can.
Yes.
That's
well,
right.
thank you so much for being a guest for us. We really appreciated it. And we'd love to have you back anytime you want to come.
Definitely would love to. And like I said, guys, if you're listening, please hit the follow on the Kickstarter, follow us on Instagram, and support when it comes out. We've got a lot of cool exclusives we do on the Kickstarter. You can back order 1 through 3 on our website and all kinds of stuff.
Cool.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And as we like to say on Wednesdays, make mine
Silverline.
Hey, this is Paul Pelletier. Make mine Silverline. Is that okay, Roland?